Hello and welcome to today's MSI 2024 recap. We're going to cover the finals between Gen G and BLG. So I predicted this one to go 3-2. Gen G ended up being 3-1 in a very competitive series where all four games went 38 minutes or longer. I believe the 47-minute game 4 is the longest game at MSI. I saw some people think that this was one-sided. Personally, I did not feel that way. Game 2, although it was one for the record books, it actually went a very long time, which would make me say, hey, what's going on here necessarily? Well, I think we'll talk about that in a minute. So, Gen G win 3-1. Chovy has beaten the choking allegations. He is now a winner. If I see Chokey in my Discord, I'm going to ban the word so people get kicked from the Discord. Only because we don't want to be inaccurate. Now, game 1. Bin in top lane, dominant into Keen. Now, as the game went along, he would overextend, get himself caught out, and therefore the lead was relatively gone. It was useless. But regardless, BLG actually had a lead in game 1 and threw it away. 1.2k gold for Bin at 14 minutes. Canyon, an advantage of 700 gold. I think he played Karthus in game 1. I knew he played Karthus, but I believe it wasn't in game 1. Elkanon, 1k gold lead in bot lane. BLG were in a good spot. Each game, there weren't a ton of plays, but Gen G did go to topside 3 times in the first 14 minutes, in part due to trying to get advantages up there into Bin and into the grubs, if you will. So, every game the team split grubs. I don't think we had a best of 5 like that at this tournament where every game they split grubs. It's definitely it's interesting, right? We've been talking about it all tournament long. We're going to monitor this, and tomorrow I'm going to go over some stats that I kept. Like the laning phases for the players, as well as maybe some Baron and Drake stats and grubs and all that. But 12-12, even split. This was an even series. BLG did take Soul in game 1, but were not able to win with it. Gen G had 2 Barons, about 1,500 gold total between the two. Barons not very efficient in this series. The teams combined for, what do we have here? 10 Barons, and neither one averaged over 1,000 gold per Baron when you take away the 1,525 you get when you start with it. So game 1, BLG are in a good spot, but as the team fights went along, Gen G came through in a big way as the game, went on and on. Karthus is only going to get stronger, right? And the rest of Gen G did as well. Game 2, very short laning phase, only 9 minutes and 15 seconds. Keen returning the favor into Bin, going up 1k gold. We saw the bot lane duo of Pays and Lahens up 1.6k gold, and they ended up being the most lopsided part of this series. Game 2 was a very, very interesting one. We saw Pays set a record with 28 kills on Callista without even getting a penta, I believe. No, he did. Never mind. I remember now. He dove the fountain at the end. To get the penta, 28 kills. Pays is a player that I've said a couple times throughout these videos. One day he is going to be the best player in the world, in everybody's opinion, or the majority. And is this the coming out party for him to finally get on that horse and make a run at that? We'll see. This is a big weight lifted off of Chovy's shoulders, but Pays as well. This guy replaced Ruler. A lot of people giving him crap because he struggled, and he's one of the youngest players in LOL esports, and I don't get that. Let players develop. And we saw today on the Callista, he put up a performance that literally was 10 more kills than the next highest kill total in a game. And in part, Gen G ran up the score. 9-minute laning phase, but this game went 38 minutes. They split grubs. Gen G took 4 Drakes, but they almost threw the game. BLG actually won some team fights in the late game. Gen G, it got scary for a minute. But 3 Barons, 3,300 gold total. That kind of goes to show you, too, their sieging wasn't on point. They could have ended this game multiple times. They didn't want to. One, Was it the mental warfare where they were trying to just take all of the energy out of BLG and out of the arena, or were they really unable to end? And were BLG standing their ground? And you could say BLG may very well have been, because BLG took them to the brink in all these games. This is very, very, very competitive series. One has to wonder what it would have been like if Elk was 100%. He's sick. I guess more of that has come out after the series. Of course, people are going to say, yeah, it's after the series. No one, of course, they're going to say that. But if you've been paying attention and you watched the T1 series yesterday, you would have seen him seem to maybe be throwing up in Game 4 on the stage. So, if you put two and two together, you would understand, yeah, he probably is sick. So, that's a thing. But Pace showed up in a big way in Game 2. I mean, 28 kills. That's insanity. I mean, we can talk all we want about everybody else, but it was Pace in Game 2. Pace is going to be remembered for this game. Everybody's going to remember this game. It's going to be a tall order for anybody ever to surpass this game, because not only is it the record, but it's also at an international event final. This is the peak of what League of Legends is. Like an absolute stomp by Pace. I don't like using words like that, but 28 kills is insane. BLG responded to Gen G and what was going on. They won some team fights, had an opportunity to maybe turn it, but it did not come to fruition. Game 3. So, Pace and Lehen, 700 gold lead before 12 minutes, 38 CS advantage, but they could not win this one. Two plays made to bot side by BLG. Gen G go topside twice. BLG did secure 2 Barons, but average negative 520 gold. But no, not average. Total negative 520 gold between the two. Rough Barons by both teams, like I said. 4 Drakes to 2 for Gen G, but BLG won those late game team fights. Sean on the Nidalee, Knight on the Jace. I believe that was Game 3. The Nidalee and Jace combo, mid jungle duo, were difference makers. Bin also played a good game on the Jax in Game 3. 51 of the 91 deaths in this series were by Bin and On. The two players going into this that many people thought were BLG's best and most consistent throughout this event, and they were the two that died the most. Just something to throw out there for the stats folks. Now, Game 4, 14-minute, 15-second laning phase. Once again, Shun and Knight ahead, 400 gold and 24 CS. But Pace and Lehen's up 2.4k gold. They're using Senna Maokai bot lane, and Lehen's on the Maokai was a massive difference maker. Lehen's did get MVP for this series, which I give a lot of credit to the voters for doing that, because personally, I think it would have been very hard to not give it to Pace with the 28 kill game, but they did give it to Lehen's. And you could say, yeah, Lehen's had a big role in why the Kalista had 28 kills, don't get me wrong, but Pace had 36% of his team's damage in that one. It's not like he didn't earn it. And Lehen's in Game 4 on the Maokai was massive. He had like a 4.5k gold lead over on, but hell, it's a farming Maokai versus a whatever. I don't even remember what On played in Game 4. Nautilus, I believe. So, I mean, of course he's going to have more gold than him. But that was massive. Like, they had no answer for Lehen's. And then when they finally went in on Lehen's, Gen G responded and would come out ahead. They took 5 Drakes, most importantly an Elder. BLG took 3 Drakes. It was 3-3, but a key team fight for the Soul, won by Gen G. And then they were able to take Elder. They took 2 Barons themselves, getting 2,100 gold total. BLG took 1, getting 1,400 gold total in their attempt. It went 47 minutes. BLG actually almost ended this one. They exposed the Nexus of Gen G at 36 minutes. So Gen G actually played this for 11 minutes without, with an exposed Nexus, essentially, inhibs and things like that. But, that's a long time with just inhibs protecting your Nexus, and Gen G find a way. You could tell BLG were very disjointed, attempting to backdoor, and you do have to wonder if that's because they're so good. And you may say to yourself, why are you saying they're so good? Wouldn't they be able to backdoor? It's like, how many positions are BLG in where they have to backdoor? I mean, I doubt this team has had to have a position like that this whole season. Hell, I doubt BLG had that position last season. I'm sure somebody will say, oh, well, there's this game against this team in LPL Spring 2023. But you get my point here. There not really many times has this group of five been put in a position where they had to attempt to backdoor. And it just was sloppy and messy. They couldn't get it done. And Gen G were able to pick off the right players of BLG and win game 4. So that's the thing. I mean, Gen G, it was so competitive. And there's a CB Lull or Brazilian journalist in my comments yesterday asked me if I felt like this MSI was the most competitive of all time, and or the best MSI of all time. He said the best, and I was about to respond to them and say I believe it's the most competitive. But what I did say was, if BLG win this, I am not going to be happy, only because of the format. But Gen G wins, so I am going to say I think this was the best MSI I've ever seen. Very competitive, a lot of storylines and narratives to follow. Personally, I feel very vindicated because I got LCS fans mad with my TL banter, LEC fans mad with my G2 banter, LPL fans mad, LCK fans mad, and I got some minor region CBLL fans mad. So I think I did a perfect job trying to cover this MSI because, I mean, hell, if I can make everybody upset, that truly shows I don't have bias. So, totals from this series. Both teams made 10 plays. Gen G going topside 6 times. We saw BLG go mid and bot 4 each. Grubs split 12-12. BLG took 3 Riptails. Drakes 15-10 in favor of Gen G. Gen G averaging under 1,000 gold with 7 Barons, which is funny too because yesterday we saw T1 BLG. They had less Barons than games played, and this one we had 10 in 4 games. You do have to wonder too if fatigue set in for BLG, playing these series back to back in massive moments, a lot of pressure, a lot of just emotional, mental fatigue going on, and you do. I think that also has to be thought about with the game too for Gen G. Were they trying to really tire them out? BLG averaged 300 gold over 3 Barons. Right here we have some laning stats. So top lane, pretty much even. Bin had on average a 400 gold lead when first turret fell. Canyon and Shun essentially even. Knight ahead 275 gold, 8 CS on average, which is something to think about because last time Chovy did get the better of Knight in many people's eyes. But laning phase-wise, these two guys stood their ground. In particular, I believe it was game 2. They really camped Chovy's lane. That was clear as day. Massive camping in game 2. And I don't even like really mentioning when teams do that. And then Pays and Lahens, the biggest gap on average, almost 1,000 gold and 5 CS. So 1,000 gold with Pays and Lahens on average is pretty good. So that was a big reason why they won. Chovy led the way 9-6-39, 26% of damage. Pays 44 kills, 10 deaths, 37 assists. Elk led the way for BLG going 14-14 with 31 assists, 29% of damage. So thank you for watching. If you join me on this journey, tomorrow we're going to cover some of those MSI stats I've been keeping track of, kind of recap the tournament and some of the narratives and ramble a bit. Tuesday, I intend on looking at the patch. We're going to go over whether the patch actually did something or not, and I'm pretty sure it did. And then we're going to start, getting into the off-season stuff. I know that everybody and their mothers talked about the off-season moves as the tournament went along, but I just want to focus on the tournament, and we'll cover the off-season moves and things like that as the week progresses. So thank you for watching. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord. Become a YouTube supporter. And hope to see you again tomorrow.